Good afternoon. Welcome to Sooner Politics Weekend Report. I'm David Van. Hope you're having a great weekend, staying out of the rain. There's a lot going on in Oklahoma this weekend. Let's get right to the news. Take a look at this group. First up today, are the ethics rules ethical? Oklahoma has an ethics commission. The ethics commission was given a mandate to keep an eye on our elected officials and on our state government. But it seems this ethics commission is getting way beyond the scope of their mandate. They've decided to put some new rules in. These rules are going to not just control how our politicians get in office and how they act in office. Now they're going to keep an eye on those people who are coming down to the Capitol, how they get down to the Capitol, who they might be coming down to the Capitol with, and who they might be representing. So it seems they decided to make a bunch of rules. They had 3 amendments that they had open hearings for yesterday at the Capitol. I was there. A number of grassroots causes were there. Media was there, and a few of the more prominent lobby groups were there. One of the rules that got the most heat was the one that decided that any organization, group of people, neighborhoods, civic groups, church groups, any groups that form for any cause in over a year spend $500 are now considered indirect lobbyists. And you see this woman in the picture here. Now, she's not the one closest to me, but wearing a gray blazer and a white blouse. That's Ashley Kemp. Ashley Kemp's not one of the board members, but she's the real muscle behind the Ethics Commission. She presents things for the board to consider. She wrote these proposals. Well, it seems she got together with the Democrat legislator, Melody Blancett of Tulsa. Melody starting her second 2-year term. Melody uses as her justification for initiating this set of changes that there's gray money, there's dark money, there are groups that we don't know who they are, and we shouldn't be able to hear them unless we know who exactly they are. Well, the problem, as I presented to Melody Blancett in our discussion, she and I talked for a while before the meeting, is how do these rules accomplish the ends that she claims to be concerned about? Because most of the dark money that she's identifying is out of state. They have post office boxes, whether it's in Wichita or in Dallas, or most likely in Arlington, Virginia, or suburban Washington, D.C., or Detroit, or somewhere else. And you see those out-of-state groups really can't be made to file Oklahoma ethics reports. They could send out mailers for an election advocating against somebody, and it's pretty hard for our state government to go after them. See, these aren't really considered felonies, so they can't try to issue a bench warrant and drag them in. And besides that, we're talking free speech issues here. Now, so I agreed in my presentation to the board, I agreed with Melody about the concern. But what I pointed out is none of these rules tackle the concern that she and I share. Now, in fact, Ashley Kemp here, this lady I was talking to, she made sure that we all got to meet her mother before the meeting got underway. And seems she wanted her mother to come and speak. And you know what her mother said? She said, you shouldn't be able to have the right to speak unless you're first identified. That's right. You shouldn't be allowed to speak unless you're clearly identified. And it's up to this ethics commission, according to these rules, to identify who you are. Well, we had folks from the Cannabis Medicine Initiative were there. Uncle Grumpy, a good friend of mine, sat right behind me, had a fantastic presentation. Folks from Oklahoma Second Amendment Association were there. Don Spencer and I talked for a little bit. We had people from Tulsa 912 Project there. We had several groups. We had in particular a couple of fellows from the Oklahoma Council for Public Affairs, OCPA. See, Trent pulled out the founding documents that empowered this commission, actually in the Constitution. It said that the duty of this ethics commission is to monitor our elected officials and our state government. They have no mandate to monitor private individuals, private groups, business groups, any other groups. But yet they're trying to impose these rules. I think a lawsuit's coming, and I think a lawsuit should be coming. Jonathan Smalls spoke after his colleague Trent England. Jonathan Smalls reminded them of a date, December 18th, 1907. Yes, I still remember that date. He gave his presentation about minorities and minority rights. Jonathan Smalls grew up a descendant of black African-American parents. He said December 18th, 1907 was when our first Jim Crow laws were passed. Now, if a black man wanted to speak out at the Capitol against them under these rules, he would be putting his entire family in danger. Minority rights, minority free speech is very important, and so is our Fourth Amendment right to privacy in our private affairs. And I hope that the Ethics Commission has good sense to back off of this. They'll have another hearing. Let's go on to page 2 after this message.